from our emotional wounds. Those emotional wounds that come again in our life. I don't know if you noticed. Tell me in the comment. But my point this week is that to talk together about how not solve and heal our emotional wounds block access to our intuition, how unsolved emotional wounds block access to the calls of our purpose, but also how unhealed emotional wounds block the relationships, the conscious relationships we need to live our purpose. And before getting into how to free ourselves in this video, I would like to share with you my point of view about the fact that when we don't listen to the wounds and look at the wounds we have still in our body, in our system, we actually live according to the values of other people. Right? We don't know our needs, but we don't also know our value. We don't live according to our value. And it's especially true for women, especially for emotionally sensitive women, but also for emotionally sensitive men. So my point today is to be honest and real about the fact that if we don't live according to our value, most of the time in our relationship, we build our lives according to values that most of the time are opposite to ours. For example, as women or men who have embodied feminine energy, we live according patriarchal values that are opposite to our needs and block the purpose, why we're here. So I just want to let you share with me below this video. It will help me if that speaks to you, and it also helps the collective that sometimes are not very comfortable with sharing. So please share under this video how this speaks to you. Last week, I told you about this energetic urge, push that I've been feeling since the beginning of this year, an energetic push, urge to create according to our intuition, to create what we've always wanted to do, but we're scared to do. It's not just me, it's many people, many sensitive people who are feeling this. And if we don't create according to our intuition and purpose, even if we feel this urge, this push, is because we have unsolved emotional wounds, actually. This is why I come to you this week to help us moving forward, but also to keep going, following the live and also the podcast I shared with you last week. So we are procrastinating our purpose because we have emotional wounds, fears, and especially the abandonment fear that I'm gonna talk about this week in this video and in the podcast that I'm gonna release on Thursday, every Thursday, right? So we give our energy to others. We give our power away, especially in our relationship, because we are discouraged by our emotional wounds that we don't really know how to travel through, right? So think about that. We feel this energy encouraging us to listen to intuition, and at the same time, we are discouraged by our emotions. So we really understand how emotional freedom leads to intuitive living. The more we listen to and process our emotions and wounds, the more we make room for our intuition in order to move forward and to build without discharging ourselves, especially in terms of energy and vitality, right? So this is my point, and I'm a very good example how emotions can block intuition. I've been living in my life for 35 years with a lot of PTSD and CPTSD symptoms, and I've been trapped in those wounds and emotions. Even if I had a lot of energy to move forward, I couldn't move forward. It's like you have an elastic holding you back in the past, because the wounds, the emotional wounds, come from childhood or your family's emotions and wounds. So it comes from the past. So you feel this elastic pulling you back, and at the same time you feel the elastic pulling you forward. So if you're not conscious about it, actually you will stagnate. And you're listening to this video is because you want to build, you want to move forward. So that's my point. And I'm on the same boat than yours. This is my point. I have a purpose, and I'm trapped by my past and my family's history, emotionally speaking, of course. So this is like, we have our intuitive voice whispering something that we've been knowing. Most of us, we know our purpose, at least some bricks of our purpose. So we know, right? Tell me if you know about your purpose, but you're not living it, but you know about it. So you have a voice of your intuition that say, this is good for you. Intuition is telling you what is good for you right now, in the future. But we also have other voices, many other voices, saying the opposite, saying that this is not for you, this is not now, this is not like that, blah, blah, blah. So this is not your intuition, because this is voices that tells you that you're not enough most of the time, right? So we have this battle. So emotional release, freedom, mastery, what I really have at heart to teach myself and you, is about to make more room about this intuitive voice. And those voices, you also have to listen to them, but being conscious about the fact that those voices prevent you from moving forward, because they are coming from unsolved emotional wounds, and especially the abandonment wound that I'm going to talk about today. And because the abandonment wound that we all are triggered by, more or less, depending where we are at on the emotional freedom journey, and depending in our life, right? But we all suffer. I start with the emotional wound, the abandonment wound, because this is the most prominent, especially for women, but also for sensitive men. I precise it too. So why I want to address the abandonment wound this week is because the abandonment wound, non-treated, non-solved, and non-listened to, leads to codependency. Codependency in your relationships. Even if you think that you're independent, myself, I've been thinking all my life that I was independent. Professionally, that's true. But emotionally, I was codependent without being conscious about it, without even knowing it. So it took me in a very difficult situations in terms of relationships and emotions, because I thought that I was independent emotionally, and that wasn't true, because my abandoned wound, like everybody, has to be listened to. This is what I want to guide you to this week. Okay, so last week I shared with you energy healing treatment, an introduction to Theta Healing and somatic practices, to free yourself from anxiety, which is the most common emotional issue. You can click on the link under this video if you want to practice this emotional healing treatment. I want to remind you that emotional freedom is a process. It's not a one-shot, one-fix thing. So I really encourage you to listen to the anxiety guided audio, and you can use it. Is the basics of emotional mastery, is to listen to and integrate the triggers of your anxiety. So this audio that I put below this video, you can practice it. as soon as you feel something triggering you, right? So this is the first thing. This is what I shared last week, right? But this week I want to talk about. I will share on Thursday an emotional healing guided practice to free yourself from abandonment wound and codependency that are the same wounds, right? Actually, it will, in short, like healing the abandonment will lead you toward more self-love, self-esteem, self-worth, and self-respect, especially respecting your needs and your values, right? It will help you to live according to your own terms and to co-create the relationships that you need and not the relationship that your lack of love needs. I can tell you, I'm a champion in terms of um, leaving my wounds, right? I've been living for 35 years according to CPTSD symptoms, a lot of abandonment issue from my childhood and from my family history. And I pretended that everything was okay because I had this mask, this fake mask of strong and independent woman. And that was not the truth. That's why I want to share that with you. I was seeking for love instead of loving myself. I was abandoning myself instead of respecting myself. And healing abandonment will help you to love yourself first without the fear of being abandoned and non-loved or unloved by other people. So it's a real, after anxiety, healing for me, abandonment healing is the second most important emotional healing. That's why I want to share that with you this week, right? It will help you to live according your inner fire, your purpose, instead of someone else's purpose. And it will help you to build relationships, conscious relationships, to go toward your mission instead of being drained energetically by other people because you have the lack of love, right? So before sending this abandonment healing treatment on Thursday, I would like to share an important message for you to prepare to this to release this wound and codependency, especially if you're an emotionally sensitive woman or man and you haven't found the remote control to use your sensitivity as an asset, as a strength, right? Tell me if it's your case. This is my case. That's why I know really well the dynamic. Emotional release is actually, so my important point that I want to share with you before leaving you today is that emotional release, emotional healing is actually a change in your energy frequency. It's an expansion of consciousness and confidence, actually. The more you release emotions, the more you make room for intuition. So I shared that with you already. And the more you graduate, the more you come out of a trance of fear, the fear of being abandoned, the fear of this neediness of the love of someone else, the codependency, you will leave this trance of fear that you've been living in for years, and you will jump into a new trance. And this new trance is the new frequency, energy, vibration is actually, instead of seeing your wound as a punishment, I had this wound when I was 5 years old, or I have this wound from my mom or my dad, this is a punishment, you will see it, you will turn the wound or the punishment into more meaning and teaching in your life. You will see it differently with a new pair of glasses. And you will attract new synchronicities because you change your vibration. You will also get new sensations in your body. This is why I guide you in this audio on Thursday on embodying the new sensations of, instead of feeling the abandonment in your body, you feel the confidence. This is another kind of sensations, right? So you will receive new sensations in your body, some sensation of confidence, for example, or self-love that you've never felt before. You will have physical, emotional new reactions, right? That you haven't felt before. So I invite you from today, it's Monday, right? I like the Monday energy, as you know. I invite you to prepare yourself to receive, to learn how to feel and integrate a life without abandonment fear, a life without codependency. And instead of feeling the abandonment, the fear of abandonment, you feel the confidence that you're loved. You don't need to seek for the love of someone else. And even if you feel they abandon you, you feel okay. It's a new sensation in your body. So prepare to receive new codes, new encodings, new sensations. Prepare to feel differently. No, you change not your skin, but you change what is happening inside your skin. You learn how to feel free from those limiting patterns that don't serve your purpose and your conscious relationship. Okay, so I leave you on that until first day. Put yourself in receiving mode, right? Receiving new codes of life without this fear of abandonment. So I invite you right now maybe to feel how it is for you in your body when you have this fear of being abandoned, of being unloved. This neediness when someone is leaving you or you feel they will abandon you. Because by receiving the new code, you will resist a little bit, right? The point of this week treatment is to let go of the resistance of not changing. Because changing your emotions is letting go something that have been protecting you. So feel this dance about, I want to release the abandonment issue and the codependency, and at the same time I resist because I've created these protection mechanisms, right? There is a way that you want to change, and there is another side, you don't want to change what you have built for years, right? So just feel the resistance dissolving and feel the wound, the fear changing into lessons, teachings, wisdom even. This is the point of what I'm teaching. Changing the emotional charge into wisdom. We are not punished by our emotions. We are learning and living a purpose because of our emotions. Right? So this is what I want to share with you. That's all for me today. Happy Monday. Have a good week. Feel free to contact me if you want a private session, emotional release with Theta Healing, somatic practices, and maybe intuitive writing. Contact me if you want a free call to talk about your emotions and trauma and wounds, and to know how Theta Healing, somatic practices, and intuitive writing maybe can help you to release your emotions and to live your purpose, or to feel freer in your relationships. You will find also below this video a short description about what Theta Healing is. If you want to know more about that, contact me, comment, share if you know over emotionally sensitive women and men who are on this beautiful path of emotional healing. Thank you for your courage to travel through your emotions, because as your healing is not just for you. You allow other people around you to heal. This is not just for you. This is not a punishment, and this is not a selfish thing. It's actually self-love and unconditional love for others. So thank you for your courage, and I see you on Thursday morning for the guided Theta Healing practice to turn your abandonment wound into wisdom and purpose. And I see you next Monday for this live again around 1 p.m. I see you soon. I love you. Bye-bye.